Yes, I agree with the woman who says that I have my own faculties and I would rather not go hang out with a group that needs a bullhorn and they're handheld, because that is not the point of, say, maybe having our separate faculties on. I mean, we've cut the umbilical cord there, and then do we have any tether lines? What is actually happening? And then she talks about that little voice in her head, kind of cracked me up. A lot of people activating with that over the last 3 years, let alone that's just how the human being um, is, aside from living in fear. The more that you don't have those faculties going and like really testing, your intuition, the littlest thing, it's important. It's like, oh, see that little ping I had a few days ago? There it shows it's like confirmed, and you're just like, if it's just the littlest thing, you should go, yeah, and because it lights up 10 other things that's like, you know what, I bet, yep, I was right about that too. Anyway, we're coming on to some heavy duty stuff. Um, Due to heavy duty stress, we need to um, shape up a little bit. We can't say that the influences that cause all this, pardon me while I'm rolling a joint and I'm trying to look for an ashtray. Uh, we we can't say, we can't tell what is what, like what is benevolent, what is evil, what is really going on. I say simultaneous stuff going on. Somebody is warning us, saying, "Be resilient," stuff like that. But then they say, put on your mask. That occupation is getting so like desperate that it's funny. That's what we noticed, like that summer when the announcement went on, and but as far as the bamboozlement going on, like the woman mentioned, this has been going on for 60 more years. As far as an organization who says, you know what, I think that it's a great idea, because they know about vibrational frequency. That's the way they operate, and they want to create the most violent vibrational frequency, which it's come up here onto this mountain within the next, well, over the next, what I mean, over the last um, 15, 20 years for sure. I notice it's like, okay, somebody is really restless and thinks it's necessary to, and that sounds like, what I mean is necessary to drive 3 hours to work every afternoon. I'm coming back from work, and it's just, there's rush hour traffic up here, and it's like, why is there such like that like energy burning, like these people, like, can you find a place next to your work? Does it contribute to that place over there? How about up here? Do people work for around here? That's kind of the thing that should be going on with the Taurus influence going on. It's going to keep going on. Um, I imagine an after effect of the Taurus vibration when Uranus goes into Gemini. There's going to be a lot of communication and say, okay, so by the way, did you notice this, and this, and this, and this, and start categorizing it. That's what Gemini does for us. Gets the quality of things, like what worked, and let's put it up there, like really, that's just the beginning, and we're just, I don't know, I mean, it's happening in our microcosms. If you haven't felt over the last, say, since March, all of the pressurization and release and flattening out, and then boiling, and then And now here I am. I mean, here we are. Not an isolated incident. But it's much deeper than the obvious. It's like, well, with our human, see, there's the aspect of our human relationships, and then there's the aspect of the non-human um, influence, which is money, and the you could say the entities who value material wealth and money more so than the quality of the human relationships that are conducting around them. They also see that this is very illusory. This has been the subject matter for me since my computer here. I just freed up some space, which is easy. You just have to focus and um and do these things, clean things up. That's kind of what we've been doing for the past 3 years, right? But getting back to the two-sided things, like what I'm looking at is like, okay, there is obviously two types of people here, two types of entities who run into this on this planet, and it's looking like it's men and women, and uh, that I'm not saying it's like, okay, so we're gonna have a war now. Yeah, if there's poor programming, one doesn't understand that's like that we're here to work together. Can you work together? Like, are you going to reciprocate? Oh, hi, narcissist. Can I talk here? Excuse me. There's somebody that thinks they know so much better than common sense, and the truth out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your do you have your faculties on? It's not a helmet. Somebody has said, now this is what you need. Why? So you don't hit your head. Well, you're not even going to know where your head is if you don't hit it every once in a while and say, oh, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm not going to move that way anymore. It's dangerous. Anyway, thanks for listening to this. And no, back when people were so ultra sensitive and it's like, it was so funny. You could just, as an astrologer, you can just predict it. Now, these people are going to be on the edge. What degree is it? Yeah. And we're going back with Pluto going into Capricorn, hitting 29 degrees again. If you have a 29 degree, not that it's not happening now, but it's going to kind of be a bit like a, hi, don't forget about me, Satan here. Did we wrap everything up here with your Satan is the mind. See, this is what I figured out. It's like none of that shit ever happened. The thing that they talk about, a story, a historical count, sure, but why doesn't it die? Why can't we just move on? What is it really? Well, the reason why it won't die and move on is because something has harnessed it and said, now just pay attention to this fucking story, like the media, like that woman said. So she says, would you please, I'm not into history. What about now? You know, uh, you know, um, because what have we learned from his story? Let's learn from her story. Oh no, who's that? Excuse me. Do you know about her story? We don't know. Yes, we do. I'm not knocking people gaining value out of a story. But when do you apply it to your? When is it useful to us? Like, was it history or is it happening now? You know what I mean? It is happening now. The story goes is that you find out you need to choose, and so now you're on trial. That now you've got to choose reality, God, Christ, or the mind, Satan, deception, the fear, the fear that is the mind itself. The mind and fear are like just synonymous, because only because that if it doesn't see itself, it's going to think it's all there is, and there isn't any ground there. There's no reality. The mind and reality are diametric opposites. Like I said, you're going to have to choose Jesus or the murderer. Well, everybody lets the murderer go because most, and that is now, we were talking about 80% who are non-human yet. There's only 2 types on this planet, remember? I'm saying nowadays just straight out, men and women. But no, there's the one who chooses the mind. They're mind-oriented, so that's going to need a lot of distraction so that it doesn't find out that it's not real. Because when it does, oh God, just right on that precipice, right on the threshold, right, like dancing around it, there's sheer anxiety. It's like, no! I'm gonna work harder, damn it! Set the alarm. I'm doing 12-hour days. Don't remind me. It's just like, there goes the fucking wheel going, and it's like, wow, hooked up that free energy, like, and it's running upside down and backwards because it's not working for itself. It's working for a fucking fantasy, right? Of the fucking multi-million headed dragon kind. We can go on and on about all the traditions and all the who we think we are and all this shit. And it's like, well, how do you feel? Like right now. I love you guys, and thank God I got this thing all sorted out. It's like, just come on, babes, let go, let go, let go. Everybody, if you notice, snapped and just bit each other's head off at one point, and then it's like, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. I'm sorry when if it's self-sabotage, you're the sorriest fucker on earth. Excuse my language. Sorry. I like that gal though. I like listening to people work out their perceptions, like how that they come around, like getting just to the point of, well, what about truth and reality versus the one that's saying, no, I'm way more real, man. I'm way more real than anybody here. The presence of just the present. I don't have the time.